Kia ora, Fei. Welcome to the Dunedin Stories.
Thanks, Bex.
Great to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to have you share your story with the Dunedin community and get to the heart of what Fei's about. So do you want to start with that? Do you want to tell our community who you are and what you do and how you got to do that lately?
Thank you. I am originally from Wellington. Well, if you want to go more original, I'm originally from Malaysia. We moved over here when I was young, and I grew up in Wellington. I'm a registered nurse and have been for, I hate to say it, nearly 20 years. We moved back to Dunedin. So I came to Dunedin for 3 years as a teenager in my late teens. Swore I'd never come back. But came back 10 years later with a husband and 2 kids in tow because we felt that Dunedin would be a better city to raise the kids up in. And that was back in the recession of 2009 when things were quite difficult up in Wellington. And so, yeah, we went from there and we are true and true Dunedinites now. My husband even bridged over from supporting Hurricanes to Highlanders now.
Wow.
With yes, it took him a few years, but he now says it with conviction that he's a Highlanders supporter, which is big for him because he is a true Wellingtonian. And yeah, so I worked for the DHB when we came down. Originally was going to go to med school. That was the other reason why we moved down. But then found out I was pregnant 3 months later, and that was it.
Changed that little moment.
Yeah, change of plans. Yeah, we absolutely loved Dunedin and swore we will never, ever go anywhere else, actually. Just love it here.
And a great place to build a business, perhaps. What was the career pathway to that?
Well, that was kind of incidental, actually, but just going back to just giving a bit of context to why I suddenly became a business owner, because I was a registered nurse, or still am a registered nurse, is I've always had a bit of an entrepreneurial streak. I think I got that from my dad. He's always been an entrepreneur, even back in Malaysia. And I remember when I was 7, I used to grab a whole bunch of flower petals with the neighbourhood kids, dried them out, put my mum's perfume on them, and went door to door selling. So that was my first entrepreneurial.
Did you want the cash for something?
No, I didn't. I don't know why. I just liked the fact that I could make money, and also that people receive something that was of value or some goods. So that's where it started. So fast forward, I was working in community services. I did enjoy my job, but I was feeling a little bit empty in the whole mental and emotional tank of healthcare. It takes a lot out of you. And so my friend and I decided we'd look for a business. And it was anything. I was happy to jump out of the health industry, and we looked at dog grooming before it was a big thing in Dunedin. We looked at cafes, we looked at everything, and just there was nothing that presented right until my friend went to a dinner party, and the friend of a friend was talking about this equipment he had from Italy. And they're like, oh, why don't you tell her? And he told her about it. I instantly got a text from her saying, you might want to look at the stuff. I had a look at the website that was from Italy, and it was equipment that's traditionally medical equipment or physio equipment, but built in a way and made in a way to help people with their health and also with helping shaping, toning and slimming. So that's how it started, using electrostimulation, infrared and ultrasound and pressotherapy. So those are all things that you kind of heard maybe about. They've kind of been in and out since the 70s. But they put it in a really different and unique way. So that's how it started. We looked at that. He was selling the equipment really cheap because he, unfortunately, he bought all the equipment over from Italy was going to start his own business. It kind of went pear-shaped for him, and he had it in storage for a year or two. And I thought, well, it's a bargain. Yeah. The worst that can happen is I can put it in my garage and use it myself if it didn't work. Yeah. And so we went for it.
Fantastic. So what is your business called?
The business is called Project Physique. It is going to be rebranded very shortly, but because we have evolved from just body health.
Yeah. I like the name of that, obviously. Everybody's physique is a project, isn't it?
Well, that's why I like the name as well, because it's a project, meaning it's one of those things you will continuously work on. There is no end. It's a journey. But physique has been a funny name to have because a lot of people can't spell it. Yeah. Or say it. Yeah, and yeah.
It's got that sneaky Q in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's also, the reason for rebranding is because we have gone into aesthetics and so beauty side of things, and we have, going into more internal wellness. So Project Self, I've just reviewed it. No one else knows.
Here we go.
Will be our new name.
Awesome.
Yeah, so.
That's lovely. I really like that. So when you talk about the myriad of services you offer, do you want to talk about some of the core ones maybe?
Yeah, so as I was saying, the beginnings was the shaping, toning and slimming, but I knew all this equipment did a lot more than that. So that's what people ultimately come for, is they want to shape up, tone up from these various modalities that we have, and there's a lot of research to show, and this equipment have been there since the 70s to help with various health things. What I was looking forward to was the only side effects. This is what I always joke with my clients. The only side effects is that you'll feel better. Actually, it improves your health in the sense it improves, like infrared improves mood, it improves sleep, and improves a lot of those, and inflammation and pain, and electrostimulation is the same. It helps with improving range of movement, and people just feel like they get around better. So it's all those little improvements that people don't necessarily come for, but they get.
Well, they need to be prepared for that, don't they? It's got to be some understanding around.
Well, they're always surprised by it, and that's the most joyful thing about that part of things. And we actually have evolved and used a lot of that equipment specifically for people who have had back injury, neck injury for some clients, people who aren't mobile as such. And the pressotherapy is something to do with lymphatic massage or lymphatic drain, and so it helps people who've got swelling or have tissue injuries that they need to help with circulation. So people do now come for that kind of separate. But when we first started, it was great to see people losing lots and lots of centimetres. That was fun. That is fun.
It's always the goal, isn't
it? When people, after 6 treatments and can lose sort of, 5 centimetres around their waist, get a bit blown away and then feeling better as well. So that was the start of the business. And then while particularly ladies lying there, looking at me going, Faye, you're a nurse. And I'm like, yes, thinking how can I help with health-wise and giving you health advice and all that, which is all part of the service anyway. And like, do you do Botox? And I'm like, no, I'd never do that.
Famous last words.
It was, because 6 months of different clients, I'm sure they were all in cahoots with each other, even though they didn't know each other. They started sort of popping up these questions of Botox, and while I'm lying here, you could, maybe work on these few things because I'm feeling great. I want to look great, all that kind of things. And so I kind of went, okay, well, I'll see what's about, and decided to train up for it. And went to Auckland for some workshops and trained up for it. And it's actually quite funny how much I enjoy seeing people perk up. Even doing something as, removing their angry lines or their tired lines. And it's more about that people want to do it and want to know about it. It's not about making people look plastic or fake, and debunking myths of why some, you see some celebrities overdo it and why that happens, and it doesn't happen in normal circumstances.
That's right.
And so I went to that whole aesthetic thing and then thought, what else are there alternatives to apart from injecting? Because I like alternatives, I like non-invasive. And so we've had a look at different technology. And this is how, from, stumbling onto this first technology for the body treatments, is now how I've gone to, I've found a need, so I go and investigate what have we got out there in the world that is non-traditional but proven. I am a big stickler for looking at proven results and not just fads. And so we found the likes of high-intensity focused ultrasound, or HIFU for short. So that's using ultrasound energy to help with tightening skin and lifting, particularly the neck and the face. And more recently, a couple of years ago, we acquired something called plasma, a machine called AgeJet. So sounding a bit Star Trekky, but it's using plasma energy to tighten skin, but also been using it to help with healing wounds and getting rid of scars and pigmentation. And so that's using plasma energy that doesn't cause wounds on top of the skin, but helping the skin to rejuvenate itself from the bottom up. So actually your body takes over and rejuvenates that skin itself. So we're not putting anything in the body that it doesn't need.
This is all fascinating. I actually had no idea that this type of service offering was in Dunedin.
Well, and that's what a lot of people say. When they discover us, they're like, why are you in Dunedin? Well, is this anywhere else? Particularly, when we first came with all the body stuff, we're the only ones in Australasia with the system.
Wow.
And what surprises people is, why is it in Dunedin? Why are you not in Auckland? Are you in Auckland? Are you in Wellington? I'm like, no, why is it in Dunedin? And all I say is because I'm here.
Yeah, well, that's right.
And because we found it here from somebody else who, had that train of thought of this needs to be here. And yeah.
So sort of on that wave, if you like, creating a business in Dunedin, has Dunedin provided you with special opportunities around building a business?
See, this is what is surprising, because when we first decided we're going, why not, let's just go for it, it's been so surprising how supportive and how, Dunedin people love innovation. They actually love difference and technology, and they've really, really embraced it. So I can say that after 6 weeks of being in business, although we were a tiny little clinic, we were booked out after 6 weeks of opening, we were booked out for a few months. So I had to bring in more equipment. Yeah. And so Dunedin has embraced the new or the different, and been absolutely supportive. And, and I love Dunedin people because not only are they friendly, but they're willing to give it a go. Let's
give it a crack.
Yeah, why not? What's the worst that can happen? Yeah. But yeah, and it's just been amazing, the uptake on it, and how supportive Dunedin and how intrigued people are. Yeah.
I think unique to its size as well is the word of mouth marketing gets you results pretty quickly.
Yes.
We are so small and we're all so connected.
Yes, that's true.
You and I don't know each other, but we certainly know people that know you and I.
Yes, so, most likely.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What about, have you had any challenges or tricky things as you build a business that you'd like to share?
I would say, just putting out there, if any business people or business owners say they've had no problems, they would be absolutely lying. Yeah. Business is a funny thing. It's one of those things of saying Dunedin, took up the business and they came and they're really supportive, but there's also the downside of Dunedin being really small. Is that and some people are afraid of the new and the different, and I think that's like anywhere though, but it's that whole kind of population amount of people. Difficulties in business is particularly with our business is that a lot of what I offer in the clinic is actually considered medical. So there's a lot of things I can't put out there on social media because it's not sort of ethical or legal in that kind of medical.
There is some legal requirements.
Yeah, so there's certain things I can't and claim, but I can't put on social media. Like certain services that we have, or we can't advertise on social media. We can say we've got them, but we can't advertise
the social media channels that have that rule. Or
no, it's the medical.
Industry?
No, it's the medical.
Industry.
Yeah, the medical industry. And we're not supposed to ask for reviews either.
Wow.
We're not supposed to have reviews. As a nurse, I can't get people to review me as a nurse.
Wow.
In that kind of social media field. So that makes it tricky, and you have to be kind of, how do you spread a word of mouth? That kind of thing. So that will probably get you thinking.
Yeah, it does.
In that field.
Absolutely.
And so, particularly with our new service of IV infusions, because that is definitely very medical, I can't advertise it on Facebook.
That's where perhaps the rise of the influencer marketing happens, because
they can say,
but you can't. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like any other business, though, going back to difficulties is the big one is self-belief, and the big one is this going to work? Constantly, is this going to work? What can I do to make it work, and all that kind of stuff. So,
and that entrepreneurial spirit stops you from saying, no, it won't work.
Well, yeah. How many times have I quit in a week? We've been around for 6.5 years. So yeah, I can say I've probably quit in my brain more than I haven't.
It's okay. I think we are all in the same ship.
Absolutely. So many hats to wear when you own your own business.
Yeah, and you have your family.
Absolutely.
Husband.
Yeah, 3 kids.
Wow.
2 fur babies.
2 fur babies. And everything else in life. So it's tricky.
It is.
And we have
absolutely.
Such, high expectations of ourselves as women in business.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so, particularly women.
Congratulations on taking it 6.5 years, and there'll be another 6.5 years. Innovation-wise, do you think there'll be much more change to what you're doing in your business currently?
There is, what I know to be true is that the world is, going with innovation, and it's just keeps going, and which is great. But I always think to myself to be careful with innovation, because some things could be just a fad. And with all the technology that I've brought in, it's looking at results, making sure it's scientifically based, making sure there's research on it. And is it credible, and is it innovative, or is it, it's that whole part of being a medical, profession, is it doing any harm, that kind of thing. So, but there are a lot of innovations in that whole wellness and aesthetic world. There's some pretty exciting ones, and there'll be ones that I'm like, cool, but I don't know I would do that. So it's looking at, is it innovative? Is it doing harm? Is it going to help? And
they're great values and sites to have, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially in a small town. And reputation is key, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Dunedin. We'll lower the tone a bit. We love Dunedin. As you said, you're not going anywhere else.
No.
Let's say you've got a friend that's visiting that hasn't been to Dunedin before. Have you got a particular spot where you might take them for a view or a feeling of Dunedin?
That is such a hard question. There's so many places in Dunedin that is amazing. So when we first were talking about moving down, my husband had never been.
Oh, wow.
he'd only ever been to Christchurch in the South Island, never been to Dunedin. So he took my word for it.
Yeah.
That Dunedin will be the place.
Man.
He is actually, funny enough. And so we took him everywhere, actually. We drove around the city. We drove out to all the amazing beaches, like, St. Clair. We went to Brighton. We went to, it's that whole what we're surrounded by around the city. The city is pretty itself, but we're surrounded by so much amazing nature and beaches. Well, coming from Wellington, you couldn't ever go to a nice beach that was close by. Yeah. And I know there's Oriental Parade, but that's kind of man-made, and it's so many people in such a little square, where in Dunedin there's so many beaches with, a small amount of people. And so I would say I would take them to my place, because we just built a house out in Ocean Grove.
Oh, beautiful.
And we get, so my favourite beach is Smells Beach, Tomahawk, just all around there.
Awesome.
Is probably my favourite place. Yeah.
That's special. And very little mobile coverage, which is awesome. What about now, where would you go for lunch? What's your go-to place?
Oh, that's another hard one.
Is it?
It's surprising how many great food places we have in Dunedin. And my girlfriends and I, we catch up on a regular basis, and we're always trying different places, and we all have our favourite.
Yeah.
So that is a hard one. But food-wise,
you have to name
one. I'll name a few. I love Ep.21. I love the difference, and especially being Chinese, I love the different splashes of Asian and fusion.
I think he's got a new menu suddenly as well.
Oh, I haven't been for a while, and every time I've been, I forgot they close on Mondays.
Oh, yes.
And I've always been disappointed.
Come on.
And other places like Salt or Starfish out in St. Clair, those are my go-to for, like, lunch catch-ups and things like that. And just to name a few. No, you can go on.
Family, so you've got some little ones. Is there an event
not so little
in the calendar? Not so little now, but is there an event that goes in the calendar every year that you must do that Dunedin offers?
When they were younger, we used to love going to the A&P show, the Tari A&P show and Brighton Gala. Loved it. Loved the A&P show. Was awesome because there was so much to see, and and also it used to be the science shows from the museum. Where they used to have Amadeus blowing things up. Yes, that's it. We always made a note to, go to those things.
The older they get, the harder these things are.
Well, they, got 2 teens and 1 nearly into, becoming a teen. So, there's just so many things that, like the midwinter carnival. That's always amazing. So there's
better keep likes on these sessions. Don't worry. Faye, if you had the chance to make a change for Dunedin that would, impact yourself, maybe your family, your business, what would that change be, do you think, that you might suggest we could look at? A wee list.
The change is I do love Dunedin as it is, but it can always improve, like any city, I guess. I think is just growth and innovation is one of the things that probably Dunedin is calling out for, and doing things slightly different. And you're going to ask me, what do you mean? Just in a general sense, like, having so to attract more sort of different things for entertainment, and for I guess that's where we are in life with our kids, is something more for the teenagers to do, and having attractions like that. Like, it'd be great to have something like what Queenstown has, like an iFly or VR indoor arena thing. And so in order to do that is, just grow the city.
We have to
with accommodation and more concerts, please. Pink was amazing.
Yeah.
So just things like that.
I hear you and agree. We have to grow, absolutely, and to be innovative is probably the only way that's going to happen. So
absolutely,
they go hand in hand. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today, Fei.
Thank you for having me.
It's gone very quickly.
It has.
Isn't it? I know. But do you want to just do a final note to the community, who you are, what you do, and how they can find you, perhaps?
Sure. So I'm Fei, and I'm from Project Physique. I'm a registered nurse, and Project Physique is somewhere for people who want to improve their wellness and health, and also to look and feel better and improve their confidence. And we have everything.
All the
included,
things.
all the actually we have all the weird and wonderful, all the different.
Yes.
Oh,
that's great. And a website?
The website is projectphysique.co.nz. And
that's great.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to spell physique, you can Google it. So all the best. Thanks so much for coming, Fei. Really lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
When we're finished here, we're going to have a chat about some of these services that you've got.